Thomas is exactly 67 years old. Every single morning, when he swings his legs out of bed and tries to stand up, his knees violently pop and his lower back aches with a deep, grinding stiffness. He feels exactly like an old, neglected machine whose hinges have completely dried out. But the daily joint pain is not what actually terrifies him. Last week, his cardiologist looked at his charts, frowned, and warned him that his arteries are rapidly stiffening, his blood pressure is creeping up into the danger zone, his heart is struggling to pump blood through his own chest. Thomas does exactly what the medical industry tells him to do. He swallows expensive joint supplements, hoping to lubricate his knees, and he obediently takes daily statins to artificially force his cholesterol down. But the morning stiffness never goes away, and the quiet, lingering fear of a sudden, massive heart attack follows him everywhere he goes. Thomas believes a very common, very dangerous lie. He believes his body is simply wearing out from decades of hard work. He thinks his joints and his heart are just experiencing natural, mechanical wear and tear. But Thomas is fundamentally wrong. His body is not wearing out, it is rusting, literally. If you are over 65 years old and you are treating your chronic joint pain and your cardiovascular issues with prescription painkillers and daily statins, you are committing a fatal biological error. Treating your symptoms with these chemicals is exactly like spraying a thin coat of shiny paint over a deeply rusted sheet of steel. The paint might hide the ugly orange flakes for a few months. It might look perfectly fine on the outside. But underneath that chemical disguise, the violent corrosive reaction is still actively eating away at the structural integrity of the metal. Eventually, without warning, the steel simply snaps and the structure collapses. The exact same chemical destruction that devours a forgotten iron tool left out in the cold rain is happening inside your blood vessels and your cartilage right now. Let us look at the biological hinge and the terrifying microscopic reality of how cellular rust is quietly eating your heart alive.
Quietly eating your heart alive. Let us take a microscopic journey deep inside Thomas's circulatory system at 6 a.m. in the morning. Over 65 years of hard life, his body's natural antioxidant defense systems have severely diminished. Inside his bloodstream, billions of highly unstable molecules called free radicals are running rampant. Think of these free radicals as microscopic, ravenous chemical thieves. They are missing an essential electron, and to stabilize themselves, they will rip an electron away from any healthy cell they touch. This violent chemical theft is exactly what scientists call oxidation. It is the identical reaction that occurs when oxygen attacks iron. On a microscopic level, these free radical thieves are attacking the delicate single-cell lining of Thomas's arteries, called the endothelium. They are stripping electrons from the endothelial cells, leaving behind millions of microscopic chemical cuts. Your body sees these cuts and enters an emergency mode of survival. It desperately tries to patch the damage using LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol. But the free radical thieves immediately attack that patching material too, causing the cholesterol to oxidize. It turns hard, brittle, and sticky. Suddenly, that fast-flowing red river of life becomes a calcified, narrowed pipe of hardened, rusted sludge. This is atherosclerosis, the cellular rust that is choking his heart, causing the spike in blood pressure and setting him up for a fatal block. At the exact same time, these same radical thieves are invading his cartilage, turning it from a smooth hydraulic cushion into a gritty, dry pane of grinding bone. Treating this systemic corrosion with painkillers or statins is a catastrophic mistake. If a car engine seizes up because it sat in the rain and rusted, you do not just force more gasoline into the tank and pray it starts. The gasoline will not fix the seized pistons. When a doctor prescribes a blood thinner to force flow through a rusted artery or a statin to stop the patching material without stopping the chemical acid, they are ignoring the chemical reaction. The structural damage is already done. They're just managing your descent into heart failure while the underlying cellular rust keeps devouring your body. Halting this chemical chain reaction and turning off the oxidation is the absolute first step to saving your own heart. But if you are over 65 years old and you have spent the last 2 decades with high, unmanaged blood sugar and chronic inflammation, the cellular rust has already turned your arteries into hard, brittle pipes. The gritting hinge in your knees has already lost its vital matrix of repair. You are walking with biological time bombs inside your own chest. Simply adding a new nutrient today is not enough. You must actively provide your body with the exact specific matrix of raw materials required to dissolve that calcified plaque and physically regenerate your endothelial and cartilage tissues before they collapse permanently. There is a private, deeply researched biological presentation detailing this precise deep tissue repair and plaque dissolution protocol. We have linked this essential guide in the first pinned comment below. If you are over 65 years old and you suddenly realize you are biological rust, you must watch this video. Pause this documentary right now, go to the first pinned comment below, and click the link to claim your spot before the damage becomes irreversible. But before you do, you must discover the exact simple biological compound that can act as a donor to neutralize these thieves in just 15 minutes. Let's look at the rust converter and the astonishing science of how a powerful biological antioxidant can physically reverse the age of your blood vessels.
Physically reverse the age of your blood vessels. 2,000 years ago, Roman blacksmiths did not just scrape the rust off their iron swords and hope for the best. They soaked the rusted metal in large vats of dark water filled with crushed oak bark. The active ingredient in that dark water was a powerful class of natural compounds called tannins. When the rusted iron touched the tannins, a miraculous chemical conversion occurred. The rust permanently stopped spreading, and it transformed into a hard, dark, impenetrable shield. The disease literally became the cure. Your aging, rusting circulatory system requires the exact same biological conversion. To save your heart and lubricate your joints, you do not need more chemical painkillers. You need a biological rust converter. The most powerful naturally occurring rust converters on Earth are specific polyphenols, particularly the complex biological tannins and anthocyanins found in dark red medicinal plants like pure hibiscus, deep pomegranate rind, and fermented red tea. When you drink a concentrated, warm infusion of these deep red polyphenols, you are not just hydrating. You are flooding your bloodstream with trillions of microscopic electron donors. When these deep red polyphenols enter your vascular system and encounter the ravenous free radical thieves that are destroying your endothelium, they do something extraordinary. They willingly give up an electron to the free radical. This instantly neutralizes the microscopic thief. The cellular oxidative chain reaction is permanently paralyzed. The cellular rust simply stops. But the true medical miracle happens to the existing rust that is already choking your heart. These specific red tannins chemically bind to the oxidized, hardened cholesterol plaque stuck to your arterial walls. They physically alter its molecular structure, converting the brittle, lethal plaque into a highly soluble compound. Suddenly, your own blood can naturally wash this converted plaque right out of your system. The gritty, burning inflammation inside your knee cartilage is flushed away. The dried-out biological hinges of your body are finally lubricated from the inside out. And your stiff, narrowed arteries finally relax, dropping your blood pressure safely and naturally. Let us look at the anti-corrosion ritual and the exact 15-minute morning protocol Thomas used to completely shock his cardiologist and get his life back. Completely shock his cardiologist and get his life back. Thomas stopped believing the lie that his body was just wearing out. He stopped painting over the cellular rust with temporary chemical painkillers. He started treating his cardiovascular system and his joints like a master mechanic treats a seized, rusted engine. He implemented the anti-corrosion ritual. Every single morning, the moment he woke up, on a completely empty stomach, Thomas drank a strong, warm infusion of deep red polyphenol-rich tea. He squeezed exactly 3 drops of fresh lemon juice into the dark red liquid. The vitamin C from the lemon acts as a biological catalyst, instantly increasing the absorption of the rust-converting tannins by over 300%. This was his morning flush. After 8 hours of sleep, the free radicals in his bloodstream had multiplied, but this morning elixir immediately flooded his veins with trillions of electron donors. It neutralized the biological acid before it could attack his endothelium. It washed the oxidized plaque out of his arteries and flushed the gritty inflammation right out of his knee joints. Within just 3 weeks, the agonizing, grinding pops in Thomas's knees completely vanished. He stepped out of bed smoothly, silently, and without pain. When he visited his cardiologist, the doctor was stunned. Thomas's blood pressure had dropped into the perfect healthy range. His arteries were no longer stiff, calcified pipes. They were clean, flexible, and completely free of cellular rust. But you must hear this final, absolute warning. If you have spent the last 20 years eating processed foods, living with high stress, and treating your joint pain with ibuprofen, the cellular rust has already calcified deep inside your arterial walls and severely degraded your joint matrix. Simply drinking a cup of red tea tomorrow morning will not instantly dissolve decades of hardened biological concrete. To truly halt the oxidation, reverse the arterial stiffness, and permanently regenerate your eroded cartilage, you must use a highly specific, concentrated deep tissue repair protocol. You need the exact, potent biological raw materials to flush out the crystallized plaque and rebuild your cells from the inside out. We have linked the complete step-by-step plaque dissolution and joint regeneration blueprint in the first pinned comment below. If you are over 65 years old and you refuse to let cellular rust silently destroy your heart and trap you in a stiff, painful body, you must watch this private presentation right now. Click the link in the first pinned comment below before the corrosion causes a catastrophic failure. Your body is not wearing out, it is rusting. Stop the oxidation, flush the plaque, and finally reclaim the smooth, pain-free life that is rightfully yours.